Do you know what I hate that crack. Like, you know when you put on liquid with lipstick and then there's like a crack right by your lip, like where your inside of your lip is. That's annoying. Hey guys, today is gonna be a completely different video to normal. As you've guessed by the title, sorry, as you've guessed by the title, today's video is going to be about my driving test experience. I'm going to be covering how I found it, some tips and just a little bit of advice if you're watching this and you're about to take your driving test soon, or maybe you're just watching it just because you wanted to see how I got on. But yeah, I do hope that, well, it's more of a story time really, I should say, but I'm gonna add a little bit of, like, you know, advice and tips at the end just to see if I can help anybody out. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, so I had my driving test, I think it's a month tomorrow, so it's like my month anniversary being an official pink card holder now. It's still quite surreal. I can't lie, like, I've waited so long for this and I'm just so happy that it's over. But yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later. So back to the point. Never done one of these story times before, so I'm hoping I don't ramble on too much. But yeah, so as I was saying, my test was on the 14th of December. Was it the 4th? Yeah, it was the 14th of December 2016. So, you know, literally the other day around the corner, you know. So yeah, that was when I had my test. I had my test at 10:04, so it was a good time in the morning, no traffic on the road. Were the kids still at school? I'm just trying to think, were they still at school 14th of December? Yeah, probably some of them were probably still at school. So the reason why I chose that time was because I knew that everybody would be at work and school kids are gone off the road. Everything's died down by that point. Everybody's where they need to be by 10 o'clock. Majority of the rush hour commuters anyway. So yeah, that's why I chose that time. I can't remember how many lessons I've had. That is another story. I've had about 4 instructors. The first one, who's the first one? Okay, I had one when I was at uni. I'm 23 now. I went to uni when I was 18, so I had one back then when I was 18. But to be honest, I wasn't really taking the whole lessons thing seriously. It was just kind of like lightly. So I keep saying sorry. Yeah, that's when I first, you know, did my first few handfuls of lessons. To be honest, I don't know why I didn't carry on back then. And that brought me to my second instructor. He was very good, but I don't know, like, part of me kind of felt like he was dragging my lessons on a bit. I felt like he was taking ages, you know, to get onto a new topic, whether that was me being, you know, hasty and persistent, or I don't know, I just felt like he was slow, like he wasn't the right driving instructor for me. Third instructor, he just cared more about talking about his family and friends and all of that stuff rather than teaching me how to drive. So, instructor, I've had 5 instructors. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I've had 5 instructors. Instructor, 4th instructor, she was just a mess. She never had time for me. I always used to have to call her and chase her for lessons. She wouldn't return my phone calls, she wouldn't return my texts, nothing. As I said, I've had a lot of lessons, but they were on and off throughout the few years when I started, from when I was 18 up until now. So it was only since September, I'm going to say September, when I started taking my lessons seriously. So from September to December, that's when I took my lessons week by week, without fail, I think I only missed 1 week of lessons. I had 2-hour lessons each time because I felt like I was learning more and what I was being taught was, you know, sticking in my head. So by this point, when I started with my instructor that helped me pass my test, I knew how to drive, I knew how to, you know, navigate around the roads. The only thing that I didn't know how to do was my manoeuvres. So by this point, I knew how to drive. So from September till December, it was more so polishing up what I'd been taught wrong. I also found out I've been taught things wrong by the other previous instructors, which was really annoying. So he had to polish me up on that. And it was also learning the manoeuvres, mastering how to park and things like that. So yeah, that was from September till December. Then as it was coming up to my test, we do lots of mock exams. So mock exams is basically when you drive around the test area. The place that I went to, I think my driving instructor said there's 38 routes out of, and they could pick one out of those 38 the examiner can choose. So I had to learn 38 different routes. It didn't feel like 38, to be honest, it just felt like driving around. But so yeah, I had to learn 38 different routes. Okay, so what's included on the test is hill starts, independent driving. You'll be asked to do 1 manoeuvre. I think last year or the year before, I think you had to do 2 manoeuvres, but you actually only have to do 1 now. If you're in the UK anyway. But yeah, sorry, it's my friend Sobia messaging me. Yes, I know you're gonna watch this, Sobia, so you're on the video, girl. But yeah, so independent driving, you get 1 manoeuvre. You get could be asked to do an emergency stop as well if the examiner wants you to do that, basically. Yeah, if I think of anything else, I'll let you know. To be honest, I was okay up until like the last couple of weeks before my test. Like, I felt like a couple of weeks before, like, I just started getting like anxiety and panicking. And I don't know, like, I just was getting nervous. Obviously, obviously it's to be expected, but yeah, I kept making silly mistakes. I kept just doing everything wrong, and my driving instructor was like, oh, you're experiencing, you know, pre-test anxiety, all of this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I can't be messing up like this. I can't be messing around. I just want to pass my test. I just was so concerned about passing my test first time. So yeah, a couple of days before, I started to calm down, and I felt okay. Like, I felt, okay, do you know what? Why am I being nervous? I can do this. Do you know what I mean? I can do this. So I did it. Felt okay. And then in the morning of the test, that's when I was a bit like, oh, hands were shaking. Heart was beating, everything. You know what you like when you get nervous, snakes in your stomach. So we pulled up to the test centre. The driving instructor went over with me. Basically, they're called show me, tell me questions. So this is another thing that you'll be asked at the beginning of the test. So the examiner will ask you 1 tell me question, where he'll ask you a question about the car, and you'll have to provide an answer. So for example, tell me how you would check that your brake lights are working. And then there's another show me set of questions where he'll ask you to show him how you do something with a car. So for example, one of the show me questions are, can you show me where how you would check your engine coolant level, and then you'd show him how to do that. Your driving instructor will go through these questions with you. It's 19 questions, and you'll be asked 1 of each. You won't fail if you get both of them wrong, but you will be marked with 1 minor, so you'll still be able to get into the car and still do the test. If you get it wrong, it's not the end of the world. You'll just get oh my God, you'll just get 1 minor. So yeah, you get asked one show me, tell me questions. So my one was, can you show me how to turn on the indicators and hazard lights, and how would you check that they're working? So I went into the car, flicked on the indicator, flicked on the hazard lights, and then I walked around the car, and that's how you check that the lights are working. I also said to him, I can ask somebody to get out of the car for me and check around the car, or I can also check the lights in the reflection of a window or of a white wall. So yeah, that's like one of the questions. Then I had a tell me question where he basically asked me, tell me how you would adjust the head restraint so that it's, you know, correct. So I explained that to him. But yeah, if you want to feel like you want to revise the questions, you can look online. It's on the government website. So if you go on gov.uk, it'll be on there. Your driving instructor should go through this for you as well. But if you want to do it in your spare time, there's plenty of websites to have a look. And you can also even have a look at websites that do show me, tell me questions specifically tailored to the car that you're driving. So the car that I was driving was a Ford Fiesta. So what I did, I looked online and I put show me, tell me questions, Ford Fiesta, and then I put, you know, the reg of the car, because obviously depending on when it was released, certain things may be different and certain things may be in different places in the car whenever new ones come out. So yeah, into the car, and then he said, okay, when you're ready, drive off. By the way, I will navigate to you where to go. For now, just keep going straight until I tell you otherwise. So driving test centre that I had, basically like the parking spaces are on a hill, and also to come out of the driving test centre, it's on like a little slope. So my driving instructor said to me, like, make sure when you're doing your test that you come out and go back in first gear. There's no other way you'll be able to do it. So I was thinking of that in my head, what he said, and I made sure I went really slow coming out of the test centre, because it's a proper sharp bend when you come out, and you're going down on a hill as well, which makes it like a little bit more challenging. So anyway, I was driving, everything was all right, kept going straight because he hadn't told me to go left or right. He then told me to pull up. He goes, pull up on the left, so I pulled up on the left. And then he said, okay, drive off again. So I made sure I did, you know, all my window checks, and then indicated, looked, did a final check again, and then pulled out. That time he told me to pull on the left was on a hill, so I'm presuming that was what I got marked for, like a hill start. So yeah, everything was all right then, driving, and I found myself to be like really tense, like behind the wheel. Like I found I was gripping the steering wheel like this, and I was so like tense during. I felt myself getting tighter and tighter, and I was thinking like, oh God, like chill. So like relax myself. And then he tried to make conversation with me. So your examiner may, you know, talk to you. They may not, but mine did. He said, you know, what would you be doing today if you wouldn't be doing your test? And I said, oh, I'll just be at work and stuff. He seemed really nice, because when I was actually waiting in the waiting room, there was like this really like stern, mean looking guy. Like, I don't mean to judge, but I don't know, he just looked kind of like strict. Who knows, he could have been a really nice person, but there was him, and then there was my examiner, and he was just kind of like smiley and friendly, and that kind of made me feel, you know, a bit at ease that, you know, he's not going to be really like, what's the word? Intimidating, yeah. So anyway, driving with this examiner now, everything's going fine. He's not marking anything on his report, nothing. So I presumed, okay, everything's all right, just chill out. He doesn't seem to be scribbling down very frantically, so everything's okay. And then, like, every now and again, I'd kind of glance at the time to see, you know, how long has my test been and stuff like that, because it's meant, your test is meant to be 40 to 45 minutes, it just depends. And yeah, like, it was coming up to the end of the test, and a couple of times I did stall because I was getting too nervous at the traffic lights. I forgot to put my car into first gear, so, sorry, not first gear, yeah, first gear. I'd left it in like second gear or something stupid like that, so then the car stopped, but then I just, you know, calmly put it back into first gear and drove off and stuff. But yeah, so I can see it's like just under 10 minutes left of my test, and I was thinking, okay, like, everything's going all right, just keep doing what you're doing. So I come to this junction, well, I come to the traffic lights first, and then he tells me, okay, at the traffic lights, turn right. So I said, okay, this particular right is literally almost like a U-turn. That's how sharp the right turn is, like, it's a proper, like, U-bend sort of thing. So, oh my god, I've been talking for 20 minutes. I hope this is making sense. But anyway, so I get to this light, so I'm waiting. Everything's going all right whilst I'm waiting at the lights, and then I turn right. And this particular right turn is like, you turn right, but then you have to wait at a junction. There's a giveaway line, but if you don't spot it, or if you don't know it's there, it's quite easy to miss because the line is very faint on like the road markings. So you kind of have to turn right, but then you have to wait in like a little gap area, so it's like a giveaway area, and then there's cars zooming past at full speed before you actually go and do this sharp almost U-turn. So I've gone into the gap to wait for the cars to go past, but I've turned to the left and I've seen that there's no cars coming, so the car wasn't completely at a stop, so it was kind of still moving. So I kind of put my foot down and started to go over the line. But obviously, if you don't come to a complete stop at a junction, well, not obviously, for those of you that don't know, when you come to a junction, you're meant to come to a complete stop, put yourself back into first gear, look left, look right, look left again, and then drive, whether it's over to the next road or to the right, depending on what type of junction it is. So me being nervous and frantic, I didn't bring the car to a stop, so it was still rolling. I was still looking left, but I didn't bring the car to a stop, and then I almost just carried on driving into the road that he told me to turn into. And then I realised, and I was like, crap! I'm not going to swear and say what I really said. So in my head I was like, crap! I stopped, like, well, I slammed my foot on the brakes, emergency stopped, and then I put the car into reverse, and then I reversed back into this little gap where I'm supposed to be waiting for the cars. And the driving instructor, like, I put my foot on the brakes so harshly, I literally went, his head literally went like this, like forward. He was so shocked, he was thinking like, okay. And then I waited and I made sure he saw me go left, right, left again, and then I pulled off into this road. And then we drove again for a little bit longer, and I was thinking in my head, I was like, hang on, he hasn't asked me to do a manoeuvre. And then I started getting so much more panicky, thinking, oh my gosh, like, I've probably failed because I rolled over at that junction. He's probably not even going to bother with making me do a manoeuvre now because it's like 5 minutes left of the test. Like, what's going on? And at this point, I could see the test centre in the distance. I was like, oh my god, like, I've actually fudged it. Like, I've messed up this test because of this junction. And then I see the test centre, and he's like, okay, can you pull into the test centre, please? And I was like, oh my god, I've messed it up. He hasn't asked me to do a manoeuvre. I've messed up this junction. Oh my god. I pulled in, and then he was like, okay, if you just want to park into one of these bays, please. And I was like, oh, I did read up online, if they don't ask you to do a manoeuvre during the test, they'll ask you to park in the bay in the test centre at the end. And I was like, oh my god, okay. I thought, do you know what, I'm still gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna do my bay parking, you know, let's just see what happens. I reversed into the bay. It was like the parking was fine. My right wheel was slightly on the line, on the right hand side, the right hand line, but he's just basically said, okay, I'm just going to do my paperwork and I'm just going to check your parking and I'll come back in the car. And I was literally like sweating. I just closed my eyes and I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I've failed it. And I just kind of like, I don't know, I just said like a little prayer in my head. I was like, please just let him see that, you know, I didn't mean to go over this junction, oh my god. And then he came back in the car and then he kind of just put his pen down on the clipboard and he looked at me and he was like, Alita, I'm pleased to say you passed your test. Oh my god, I remember the day in my head and I literally broke down in tears. I was like, oh my god, thank you so much. And they literally cut me off whilst I was crying and he was like, but what happened at that junction? He was like, what happened? And I was like, oh my god, I know, don't ask. Like, I realised a second after I did it that I was meant to come to a stop at the line, do my checks and then turn into the road. And he was like, do you know what, I do hear what you're saying there, because I did see that you instantly realised that you realised what you did wrong, even though you did startle me a bit with the emergency stop, but I can see that you knew what you did wrong, what I'm talking about. And he said if you would have just driven off into the road without even stopping, that would have made me think differently, that you maybe didn't know what you was doing at that junction, so this test could have gone completely different. And I was like, oh, do you know what, thank you. And he's like, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I can see that you instantly knew that you made a mistake, so, you know. And I was like, oh my god, thank you. And he was like, it's okay, I'm being nice today. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then he asked me for my provisional license, because he's sent it off to the DVLA to send me an official driving license. So he took that off me, gave me my report. I'll just show you this now. And he writ up my certificate as well. Okay, so this is my driving test certificate. And yeah, this is my report. So this is what the examiner basically marks, you know, throughout the test of what you've been doing. So you're allowed up to 15, so you get 15 minors basically. I got 8 minors, but do you know what, I don't care. It could have been I think it would be worse if I failed and I had to take the test again. So pass is a pass, I don't care. And it's still okay, I think it's alright. But because of the whole junction thing, that's what bumped up my amount of minors, so it would have been a lot less than that if I didn't mess it up. But yeah, you basically get this sheet and it basically shows you where you went wrong on the test. But yeah, that's my driving test story, guys. So I almost failed, but I kind of did what I could to change, not even change, like show the examiner that I am capable of driving and I am capable of, you know, passing my test and having a license. So tips that I'd give to you guys is, honestly, I know it's hard, but just try and stay calm, because panicking, it's not going to help anybody. And for me, panicking made me make, you know, the silly little mistakes, like when I stalled at the traffic lights and stuff like that. It's not going to fail you, but, you know, it's one less minor on your test mark, basically. So I would say to stay calm. Just, you know, just think about everything you've learned and just think about the fact that you are capable of showing this examiner that you are top notch and you can pass this test. So just, you know, just try and be calm and just bring out what you've learned over the past couple of months, how long, you know, how long it is that you've been learning, however long that may be. Another bit of advice as well is to just read through your questions, the show me tell me questions. As I said, it isn't the end of the world if you do fail it, but you know, one less minor if you get it both right. Another thing as well I would say is just try and be consistent with your driving lessons. I know it's a pain, sometimes you can't be bothered, you know, it's tiring, you know, things like that, but just try and be consistent with learning how to drive, because once it's over, that's it. Like, obviously the next step is to buy a car, but once it's done, you don't need to retake your test again unless you're naughty and, you know, you're speeding and get points on your license. But, you know, yes, you won't have to do it ever again. So just, you know, just try the best you can. But yeah, once it's done, that's it. It's all over now. You won't have to go back to that test centre again. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a bit of a long video, but I hope there's something you can take away from this video today. I hope it helped you. And if you're about to take your driving test, a big good luck. You can do it. If you don't pass first time, don't worry about it. Not everybody passes their first time. You know what? It's okay. Who cares? But if you pass your first time, like me, hey, that's cool. That's fine. That's really good. But yeah, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to comment and also subscribe. Don't forget that one too. And if you want to see more videos from me, don't forget to click the bell. So whenever I upload a video, you'll be able to see when I've uploaded it. So yeah, have a nice day guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.